Okay, welcome back. Some more Zen concepts. You're going to love these. Denial defends with blindness. So ask yourself these questions. Is hiding the best way to live? A lot of times we have challenges in our life and we deny them. Certain things that we know are true, we'd rather just not observe them. In therapy, that's what we do. We help to remove the blindfold. Because when you remove the blindfold, people can see the solutions to their problems. But it's very painful to get out of denial. But it's very joyful to be out of it. It's like you've got this horrible pain or this weight on your chest, and then I pull this slab of concrete off, and it hurts while I'm pulling it off because your chest is reinflating, the blood comes in, the nerves reactivate, and it hurts. But a couple seconds later, it feels better and for the rest of your life. So the solution is not to leave that slab of concrete, crushing yourself. It's to get it off. So hiding is not the best way to live. And think about it. When you hide from a problem, here's what happens in your mind. Remember, your mind is a dumb machine, but it's always trying to give you meaning. So what does it mean to your life? And realize it's a dumb machine. When you hide from something, is the problem stronger than you, or are you stronger than the problem? We don't hide from anything that we're stronger than. We hide from things that we're weaker than. So the brain says, oh, the problem must be very strong and you must be very weak. I'll get right on that. I'll make you feel weaker. I'll shut off your resources. We will make this self-fulfilling prophecy fulfill itself, for good or for ill. In this case, for ill. So hiding doesn't build your strengths. Not hiding builds your strengths and gives you a sense of power. The power that you'll need to what? Defeat this. And it'll give you another reference that said, hey, I can beat anything. Now a child thinks that if they close their eyes, things actually disappear. That's how unsophisticated their brains are. They actually believe this. Matter of fact, you play the peekaboo game with them, they think you actually disappeared because they can't see you for a second. That's the level of sophistication that happens when you close your eyes to a problem. It doesn't really work. It's a childlike wish. And it doesn't work any more than when you were a child. So, we want to beat the problem by solving a problem. Here's an old Zen philosophy. This will shake you out of your chair. You can only solve a problem by solving a problem. Now you'd be like, yeah, that sounds pretty obvious, Paul. But if you look how people are doing it, they're not solving problems by solving problems. They're solving problems by drinking away their problems, by denying they have a problem, by getting involved in other problems, by distracting themselves. They're doing everything but solving the problem. Otherwise, the problem will go away pretty quick. So although a problem can only be solved by solving a problem, seems pretty simple, you might want to write it down on a piece of paper and tack it up on the wall. And then notice how many times other people aren't doing it, and notice how many times, oops, the person I'm closest to isn't doing it. That would be, oh yeah, me. Now, the next philosophy I want to teach you is a word called Satori. I believe it's Japanese. It means complete and utter focus with no interference from the mind. This is when the mind is so focused, it's like an archer. When he thinks no thought, but the arrow hitting the exact target, he lets go of that arrow. And in that moment, there's no thought. And in that moment, because you're completely focused, you have that moment of Satori, or Satori. It depends on, people pronounce it differently, but it should be Satori. Serenity. I remember I thought I was going to be scared when I got in an actual fight using my new martial arts. I just learned Kung Fu when I was a young kid. And you know what I noticed? Sometimes I was scared before. Sometimes I was a little nervous that I had just gone through that after. But oh my God, I had a complete sense of peace and serenity while I was going through this whole fight. Even though there's like fists and feet and sticks and knives. Christ, there could be people shooting at you. But in that moment, you are so focused on. You only have time to do what you need to do and focus on what you need to focus on. You don't have a split second to spare except to do what needs to be done, and to do it beautifully and with awareness and intelligently and fluidly. In those moments, I had absolute peace and serenity. I can remember one time I slipped on the ice and my friend looked over at me and he's like grabbing onto everything, and he looks over at me and he's freaking terrified, and he's going into like flop sweats, and we're fishtailing across the road, and eventually there's a telephone pole right in front of us and we just miss it, and then we go down a ditch and he's like grabbing his face, and he said, Paul, I looked over at you and you're sitting there trying to steer the car, and you look like you were reading the Sunday paper with a cup of coffee. He said, dude, you were freaking me out a little bit. And I said, yeah, that's Satori. Nervous before, maybe nervous after, never during. Perfect, utter focus. My mind shuts down, my body and my true mind, me, take over in perfect serenity. That's the gift. We all have it. So whenever you get out of shape, try to go back to your focus. Go back to your meditation. Try to think about the one thing. Focus. Now, life is a process of constant change. Constant change. I love this movie, Circle of Iron, because it has another great quote by Bruce Lee, and it says, "You can't step on the same piece of water twice." This is an old Zen philosophy. Think about that. Why can't you step on the same piece of water twice? Because when you step on the water, the molecules move around, and it's no longer the same. You've rearranged everything. It's like a bag of marbles that you shook up. You can't step on the same configuration after you shook the bag. When you touch water, it immediately changes. Life is the same way. Second by second by second by second, there is constant change. Even second to second, you do not live the same life. Here's an old Zen philosophy, another one for you. Nothing is so constant as change. Change is the one true universal. It's one of the few universal truths of Zen. It's the one thing that everybody can agree upon. Life is constant change. No matter how you look at it, no matter how you try to disprove it, the more you try to disprove it, the more it just proves itself. It's perfect. It is true truth, not my truth, not your truth, the truth. This is what we mean when we're talking about the Zen filtering process of ultimate truth. Life is a process of constant change. That is ultimate truth. And life is full of seasons. Jim Rohn, in an audio series called The Art of Exceptional Living, he even wrote a book on this. I think it was called The Seasons of Change by Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn's the gentleman who actually taught Anthony Robbins, the #1 speaker in the world, literally, far and away. He wrote a book called The Seasons of Life. But in The Art of Exceptional Living, he talks about these seasons. He says you got a spring when things start, you got a summer when things come into fruition, you got a fall when things are wrapping up, and you got a downtime in the winter where everything cools off. But what comes right after winter? Spring. This is genius. So right after the worst time comes the best time. But it'll always go in these cycles. Life is full of seasons. Think of it like the stock market. Stock market does what? It goes up and it goes down. Once in a while it goes sideways. Mostly it goes up and down. What comes after down, if you're all worried about things being down, 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 down? What comes after down? Up. So don't worry about it. But when you get too cocky and you say, hey, this is great, things have been going up, I say, hey, don't get too cocky. What comes after up? Down? Yes. Wait for it, wait for it. Oh, you don't like down. Don't worry. What comes after down? Up. Don't worry about the ups and downs. They come right after each other. So when things are going great, use the Zen philosophy and say, don't worry, this won't last long. And when things are bad, say, don't worry, this won't last long. Life is full of seasons. Yin and Yang, a lot of people call it Yin and Yang, but it's actually pronounced Yin and Yang. Yin and Yang is actually, it means good and evil, evil and good. It's basically the philosophy that even when something is truly evil, like the dark part of the circle that you see, there's a little bit of good inside. Good and evil, evil and good. In the white side where it's mostly good, still a little bit of evil. And then this yin and yang symbol spins, which is what? The seasons, the up, the down, the spring, the summer, the fall, the winter, the male, the female. So it's all about balance and cycles. So yin and yang is also known as the male and the female. In every male, there's this strong, muy macho, tough guy. But he'll also sit there with his baby and go, coo, 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 choo, 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 choo. Oh, I got your nose. Loving, kind, caring, cry when they first see their baby. That's more like a woman than a man. Why? Because in every man, there's some feminine traits. And every woman, very kind, very nurturing, sexy, beautiful, soft. But every once in a while, they break out a can of whoop ass. Mom ain't happy, ain't nobody happy, you know? She can bring home that bacon and fry it up in the pan. Okay? Women kick butt. So there's a time to be the male, there's a time to be the female. What you want to do is use the right quality at the right time. When your child needs compassion, you don't want to use the male, oh, tough it up. Unless your kid's being too much of a wuss, then maybe that is the right one to pull out. But you show a little bit of compassion, whether you're a male or a female. When there's time where your kid does have to just suck it up, whether you're a male or a female, you need to come and focus on that male part of yourself and say, I believe in you, you can tough it out, be a man, be a strong woman, you can do it, okay? The right qualities at the right time, in the right mixture, in the right balance, in understanding these changes of cycles. That's the whole philosophy of the Yin and Yang. I've actually got that symbol around my neck because that is the ultimate Zen symbol. It's part of their Zen philosophies. Now you could go on and on about this. This is actually a whole study, but I just want to give you a little bit of exposure to it.